I'm Taylor, he's Lewis, and welcome to episode 42 of True Sports. Man, what the hell just happened to Purdue? Really? Please, I'm so worried.
Yeah.
They, they just Purdue just coughed up the lead, and then they FDU Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah.
This
Fairly ridiculous.
Yeah, the Knights upset the Purdue Boilermakers, only the second ever team to accomplish that feat in the round of 64 as a number 16 seed, upsetting the number 1 seed, particularly in the East region where my Michigan State Spartans are still in. They moved on to the round of 32 by beating USC 72-62, but the
Yes.
focus is clearly on Purdue. And Fletcher Lawyer actually heaved up a three bomb attempt in double coverage. I mean, you had a three to tie, but there was still
Right.
there was still pressure. There was still like 12, 11, 12 seconds left in the game, left in
hmm
regulation. Why can't you just pass the ball and actually just let yourself and your teammates work as a team and come up with a better play
Yes.
and try to tie it at the buzzer in regulation
Yes.
to try to force overtime officially. But no, Purdue's coaching staff just flat out choked it for their players. They're just
Pitiful.
yeah, their players were the it's their players that built that number 1 seed, and their coaching staff just spit all over it.
Yeah. Choke City.
Yeah, the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights took advantage. They won. They earned it.
And all of New Jersey's proud. And of course,
Not just with heart, but with smarts as well.
yes. And we here in our area are thrilled. Because remember, Fairleigh Dickinson is only 20 minutes away from where I live. So we are
20
ecstatic.
minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes. Even less.
Oh, you lucky, you lucky.
You can say it.
I got yeah, you lucky buck.
I thought you were gonna say something stronger than that, but yeah.
FDU will take on FAU. That's Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic recently edged the Memphis Tigers. The Florida Atlantic Owls won 66 to 55, 66 to 60 point.
Yeah.
FDU beat Purdue by 5, 63-58. So tomorrow at 7:45 p.m., the FDU Knights take on the FAU Owls. That is on True TV at 7:45 p.m. tomorrow.
Mm.
Yeah, my focus is still for the Michigan Sport. My other podcast, the Michigan Sports Truth podcast. My focus is on the Michigan State Spartans solely, but I watch over the all the other teams in the still in still in the tournament and the entire tournament, including all the eliminated teams and whatnot, and how it all unfolded. So we already spewed out our thoughts on Purdue losing to FDU. Just it, so I believe those were your Fairleigh Dickinson Knights.
Yes. And we also had another New Jersey team pull up another upset on Thursday as Princeton beat Arizona. And you want to know the weird part? I took Princeton in that game.
Yeah,
You're probably
sure enough,
thinking,
I
wait a minute.
remember.
Yeah, you're probably thinking, what are you, nuts? Well, maybe I am, but still.
Yeah, let's try to let me try to dig that up. Princeton versus Arizona. Oh dear God. Yeah, 15 upset two. 15 upset number two. 59-55.
Mhm.
Princeton beat Arizona 59-55. Wow, so that makes two round of 64 major round of 64 upsets. Not just one but two. So yeah, FDU versus Purdue has got company.
You got it. Both New
Yeah.
Jersey schools, too. Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Garden State.
Yeah. Princeton beat just really just beat Missouri today 78-63. Lewis?
Yes. I'm still here.
Yeah. Princeton beat
Houston, yep. I saw that.
the Princeton Tigers beat the Missouri Tigers 78-63.
Yeah, now they know as misery.
Yeah, Princeton is in the Sweet 16.
Ivy
They'll,
League school.
yeah, and the and they'll take on the winner between the Creighton Blue Jays and the Baylor Bears.
I hate Creighton.
6 and 3, 6 against 3 in the South Division tomorrow at 7:10 on TBS. Oh yes,
Mhm.
that cat in the hat rhyme. So Michigan State will play. Michigan State 7 seed will take on number 2 seed Marquette tomorrow at 7:40.
Tough
Tomorrow at
matchup.
5:15. Yeah, Marquette is favored to win.
Mm,
That's televised on CBS.
yes.
Right now, Northwestern trails number two UCLA by 3, looking for its first ever Sweet 16 bid. Tune in for the final 7 minutes. Yeah, Northwestern. Northwestern sure earned the hell out of their victory. The Wildcats, they they man they beat the Boise State Broncos 75-67.
Yes.
Let me get my clicker real quickly. I'll be right back.
Sure. Oh,
That is on TNT.
Look at us streaming March Madness together with AT&T 5G.
oh boy.
Shut up. Yep.
Oh.
Now there's the shirts. Yeah, on NHL Network. Let's see. (53-51) UCLA right now. 6:26 left in the second half. And the free throw is no. And that free throw is no attempt is no good. Took a weird bounce off the heel, just a little bit too strong.
Mm.
Nonetheless. And now it's a layup for UCLA. The Bruins lead the Wildcats 55-51. You're just tuning in right now. Yeah, Purdue upset in the first round, 63-58 to the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights yesterday. Oh my goodness.
Oops. Yeah.
That's okay. So, yeah, I'm going to stay on top of the UCLA Northwestern game while Lewis, you kick off your true sports report. Go ahead.
Okay, and away we go. All right, I think we'll start off with the NCAA tournament since it's still in progress. Most of the games are done, but we have two in progress. As we just mentioned, UCLA is leading Northwestern 55-51 with 5:18 to go in the second period. Nicholson has 15 points and 7 rebounds. Jack has Jr. 24 points. In the first half, Alabama is leading Maryland 19-17. All the rest are final. Texas, number 2 over 10, Penn State 71-66. Winter had 16 points. The Use had 28 points and 10 rebounds. Okay, not an upset, but still decent. San Diego State, number 5 against number 13, Furman, 75-52. Both well had 15 points, and Butler had 12 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. Tennessee over Duke, 65-52. Tennessee was 4th ranked, 4th seed, and Duke was 5th seed. Proctor had 16 points, 6 assists, and Nike Mahuna 27 points. Number 8, Arkansas upsets number 1 Kansas, 72-71. Davis had 25 points and 8 rebounds. Wilson had 20 points. In another upset. Speaking of upsets, number 15 Princeton shocks Missouri, or Misery as the case may be, 78-63. Langborg had 22 points and 6 rebounds. Golston, 19 points. And Houston stays on as the number 1 seed as they beat Auburn 81-64. Flanagan had 10 points and 9 rebounds. Mark, 26 points and 9 rebounds. So that's what's left for today's action. So let's go over to tomorrow's action.
Houston is proving their number 1 seed, at least.
Yes. So for tomorrow, the games go like this. At 12:10, number 3 Xavier will take on number 11 Pittsburgh. At 2:40, approximately, Kansas State will take on number 6 Kentucky. At 5:15, number 2 Marquette will take on number 7 Michigan State. Ooh, that's going to be a good matchup, I can tell you right now. At 6:10, number 4 UConn takes on number 5 St. Mary's. At 7:10, I Hate Creighton, number 6 takes on number 3 Baylor. Number 9, Florida Atlantic takes on the underdog. Fairleigh Dickinson, number 16 at 7:45. Oh, yeah. 8:40, number 4 Indiana takes on number 5 Miami. And the nightcap at 9:40 on TBS, number 3 Gonzaga takes on number 6 TCU. All right, so we got the men's out of the way. Now, without any further ado, we'll go on to the women's side. It's only fair. And let me just get over here, and it goes like this. So in the women's bracket, and all the games I believe are done. No, take that back. All right, so at the end of the third, number 5 Oklahoma is leading Portland 63-47. Flower has 11 points and 6 rebounds. Robertson has 12 points. 6:39 to go in the third. Number 3 Duke is beating up on Iona, 56-21. Athens, 6 points. Brown has 10 points and 7 rebounds. Oh boy, not a good day for New York. At 8:54 to go in the second quarter, number 4 Texas is leading East Carolina 28-17. Remember, in the women's game, they play 4 quarters. Coming up at 11:30, number 4 UCLA takes on number 13 Sacramento State. In games completed, number 2 UConn beat up on number 15 Vermont 95-52. Kiowee had 14 points. Edwards had 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. Number 4 Villanova beat up on Cleveland State. Number 13, 76-59. Leo, 25 points, and Tigers, 35 points. Not bad. Number 3, Ohio State took on James Madison, 80-66. Jefferson had 17 points and 8 rebounds. Vetery had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. Number 12, Toledo beat number 5, Iowa State, 80-73. Lockett had 24 points and 13 rebounds. Jones, 23 points and 13 rebounds. Number 6, Colorado over number 11, Mid-Tennessee, 82-60. Boulder Vieira, 16 points. Foreman, 21 points. Number 12, Florida Gulf Coast over number 5, Washington State, 74-63. Carter had 24.6 rebounds. Wallach, 16 points and 12 rebounds. Number 4, Tennessee had an easy game over number 13, St. Louis, 95-50. Flowers had 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Horston had 21 points and 8 rebounds. Number 1, Indiana, another easy one over number 16, Texas Tech, 77-47. Owens had 17 points, 9 rebounds. Berger, 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Number 9, Miami over number 8, Oklahoma State, in a good game, 62-61. Calvin at 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And AC had 16 points, and that's it, just 16 points. Yeah, for some players, they don't seem to give the rebounds or assists. I don't know why, but that's just how they do it. Well, that's okay. I got a few more. Number 6, North Carolina over number 11, St. John's, 61-59. I wish they quit that. Everett, 17 points, and Kelly had 16 points in a fairly close game. Number 7, Baylor over number 10, Alabama, 78-74. Davis had 33 points. Asbury, 26 points. And finally, number 5, Louisville over number 12, Drake, 83-81. Dinbyer had 20 points, 7 assists, and Van Lith had 26 points. All right, so now we'll go to tomorrow's schedule. I believe there's still tomorrow's day of games tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. They should. Okay, and for March 19th, it goes like this. All right, number 1, South Carolina will take on number 8, South Florida. Number 2, Iowa will take on number 10, Georgia. Both those games are on ABC, actually, and they will cover the championship game. Moving along, number 3, Notre Dame will take on number 11, Mississippi State. Number 1, Virginia Tech will take on number 9, South Dakota State. Yes. Number 2, Maryland will take on number 7, Arizona. That's a 5:30 game. By the way, the ABC games are 1 and 3:30. Mississippi and Notre Dame are 3:30. Virginia Tech and South Dakota State are 5 o'clock. Maryland and Arizona are 5:30. Utah, number 2, against number 10, Princeton at 7 o'clock. Number 3, LSU takes on number 6, Michigan at 7:30. Number 1, Stanford takes on Ole Miss at 9:30.
Michigan? Wait a minute. Michigan lost in the NIT. Oh, women. Okay, never mind.
Women.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, and Seton Hall lost too, and Rutgers lost the NIT as well. Ugh. So in that part, I am not a happy camper, as you can plainly tell. All right, so on to we'll go to the NBA now. Okay, and we'll go to the NBA, and we have a few finals here to mention. It goes this way. The Grizzlies over the Warriors, 133-99. Kuminga had 24 points, 8 rebounds. Jackson Jr., that's Jaren Jackson Jr., 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 blocks. By the way, for anybody who's paying attention to the World Baseball Classic, Team USA leads Venezuela 9-7, going into the bottom of the ninth. Okay, winner takes on Cuba. Bulls beat the Heat 113-99. Bam Adebayo, that is, 23 points, 7 rebounds. DeMar DeRozan, 24 points, 10 assists, and 3 steals. The Wizards over the Kings. Kings over the Wizards, 132-118. Sabatas, 30 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. Kyle Kuzma, 33 points and 7 rebounds. The Raptors over the Wolves, 122-107. Reed, 22 points. Van Fleet, that's Fred Van Fleet, 28 points and 7 assists. Pacers over the Sixers, 141. Read it backwards. Sixers over the Pacers, 141-121. Joel Embiid, 31 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Nesmith, 25 points and 6 rebounds. Now I see why Joel Embiid is up for MVP. The Magic over the Clippers, 113-108. Wendell Carter Jr. had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 steals. Paul George, 30 points. The Knicks over the Nuggets, 116-110. Nikolai Jokic, 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. And Josh Hart, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. And going into the fourth quarter right now, the Celtics lead the Jazz 91-88. Brown has 22 points. Kelly Olynyk has 11 points and 11 rebounds. Not bad. All right, so let's check the standings here, and it goes like this. All right, in the East, well, there's no surprise that the Bucks and Celtics already have a playoff spot, as the Bucks are 50-20, and the Celtics are just a game and a half back at 49-22, making me sick. Sixers are a close third at 48-22, 2 back. Cavaliers, 6.5 back at 45-28. The Knicks, now they are guaranteed a winning season, as they now are 42-30, 9 back. All right. And the Nets are 39-31, 11 back. The Heat, 38-34, 13 back. They lead the play-in statistics. The Hawks are 35-35, 15 back. The Raptors are 35-36, 15.5 back. And rounding out the playoff spot, the play-in spots, the Bulls, 33-37, 17 back. But it is not so good for the Bulls, and I'll explain why in a little while. Bringing up the rear, the Pacers are 32-39, 18.5 back. Also with the Washington Wizards. The Magic are 29-42, 21.5 back. Already eliminated are the Hornets at 22-50, 29 back, and the Pistons are 16-55,
Wow.
34.5 back. I'm sorry. To the West, the Nuggets, 47-24, have a 3.5 game lead over the Kings and the Grizzlies. The Suns are 38-32, 8.5 back. The Clippers are 10 back at 37-34. The Mavericks are 36-35, 11 back. In the play-in spots, the Warriors are 36-36, 11.5 back. That's trouble. The Wolves are 35-37, 12.5 back. The Thunder are also 12.5 back, but they are 34-36. And rounding out the play-in spots are the Lakers at 34-37. Jazz, 33-36, 13 back. Don't count them out just yet. The Pelicans, 33-37, 13.5 back. The Blazers, 31-39, 15.5 back. Probably out by now. The Rockets grounded at 18-52, 28.5 back, as well as the Spurs with the same record. All right, so let's check tomorrow's schedule. And it goes this way. All right, so for tomorrow, we have the Nuggets taking on the Nets at 3:30. Also at 3:30 are the Suns and the Thunder. The Hawks take on the Spurs at 4. The Heat take on your Pistons at 6. The Pelicans take on the Rockets at 7. The Raptors take on the Bucks at 8. The Clippers take on the Blazers at 9, and the Magic take on the Lakers at 9:30. All right, so we take care of that. Now we'll go to the ice. Yeah, it's been a doozy right now. All right, as the Rangers just totally beat up the Pittsburgh tonight, 6-0.
Penguins got scorched, huh?
Yeah, Shesterkin, 34 saves, and Zibanejad with a goal and 2 assists. Love it. Don't count the Rangers out yet, people. All right, the Lightning over the Canadiens, 5-3. The Leafs over the Senators, 5-4 in a shootout. The Panthers over the Devils, 4-2. Sorry, Diane. The Hurricanes over the Flyers, 5-4 in overtime. The Oilers over the Kraken, 6-4. The Jets over the Predators, 3-2 in overtime. The Bruins, the Bruins are still the Bruins. And this just in, the U.S. beats Venezuela 9-7. All right.
USA just took the lead.
It's over. Game over.
Oh, they won.
Yep.
They won. Wow.
Yeah, they came back.
Okay.
All right. Good. Now we play the semifinals. Okay. Well, now they'll play the final. They'll play Cuba. That's right. Oh,
Good
boy.
one.
Yeah. Yikes.
Trey Turner with a grand slam.
A grand salami. Yep.
Yeah.
So the Bruins over Wild 5-2 as they're having their incredible season. Sickening. The Avalanche over the Red Wings 5-1. Sorry.
They're the
Blackhawks
defending
over-
Stanley Cup champions.
I know.
This has nothing to do with
Blackhawks-
the past rivalry.
True. The Blackhawks over the Coyotes right now 1-0. 10:50 to go in the first
Long
period.
time ago.
Yeah. Just starting in the second period, the Canucks and the Kings are tied at 1 apiece. And ending the first, the Stars are over the Flames 3-1. All right, so let's check the standings, and it goes like this. As we are now roughly about 3.5 weeks away from the postseason. Oh, wow. All right. Well, it's pretty much a done deal that the Bruins have clinched everything. They're 52-11-5, 109 points on the year so far. Ugh. The Leafs are 42-18-9, 93 points. The Lightning 90 points at 42-22-6. The Panthers are 35-27-7, 77 points. The Sabres, much improved, 33-29-6, 72 points. The Senators, 71 points at 33-31-5. The Red Wings, 30-29-9, 69 points. And the Canadiens at 27-37-6 at 60 points. To the Metro. Oh, I like this. It's getting good now, guys. The Hurricanes are 45-15-8, 98 points. The Devils, 95 points at 44-18-7. The Rangers, 40-19-10, 90 points. Oh yeah, I'm enjoying this now. The Pens far back at 34-25-10, 78 points. Also 78 points are the Islanders, 35-27-8. Sorry. The Capitals, 33-7 30-7, 73 points. The Flyers, 62 points at 25-32-12. Already eliminated are the Blue Jackets at 21-40-7, 49 points. And just an awful season I'm sure they would love to forget about. Over to the Western Conference, the Stars, 37-19-13, 87 points. Right behind them was the Avalanche at 86 points at 40-20-6. The Wild, 39-22-8, 88 points. And 86 points. 81 points to the Jets at 39-28-3. The Predators are 34-25-8, 76 points. The Blues, 30-33-5, 65 points. The Coyotes, 63 points at 26-32-11. And the Blackhawks, 24-38-6, 54 points. To the West, the Pacific rather, the Golden Knights, 90 points, 42-21-6. The Kings, 40-20-9, 89 points. The Oilers, 39-23-8, 86 points. 83 points are the Kraken at 38-24-7. The Flames, 76 points at 31-24-14. The Canucks, 63 points at 29-33-5. The Ducks, 23-36-10, 56 points. And the Sharks eliminated at 19-36-14, 52 points. All right, so let's check the schedule tomorrow. It's been a big night of hockey so far tonight, so tomorrow I think is more of a light schedule, as it's usually accustomed to when there's a big day on the weekend. A fairly decent schedule. The Bruins take on the Sabres at 1. The Capitals take on the Wild at 2. The Blue Jackets take on the Knights at 4 o'clock. The Predators take on the Rangers at 7. Also at 7 o'clock are the Jets and the Blues. And the Devils at the Lightning. 8 o'clock, the Canucks take on the Ducks. Yeah, all right. So it's a pretty bad. That looks to be a very tough matchup. Mm-hmm. Just a second here. I thought maybe I'd touch on some soccer as the MLS season is now getting underway. Pretty much it's now like the third week. And I'll run down these scores here. For those of you with special interest, of course. So my Red Bulls beat the Columbus Crew 2-1. I hate when that happens.
Beat up?
Well, I wouldn't say beat up, but they beat them 2-1.
Beat them. Okay.
Beat
Okay.
them.
Okay. Sorry.
Charlotte over Orlando 2-1. Toronto took care of Miami 2-0. LA Galaxy and Vancouver are getting underway, but they don't have a score yet. They're usually late with that. The NYFC beat DC United 3-2. New England over Nashville 1-0. Montreal over Philly 3-2. Seattle and LFC to a scoreless draw, zip. St. Louis is leading San Jose 3-0 with about 6 minutes to go in regulation. The Rapids and Minnesota are now tied at 1 apiece. And Atlanta easily beat Portland 5-1. Chicago and Cincinnati are tied at 3. Probably will end that way with about 5 minutes to go. Dallas over Kansas City 2-1. Houston over Austin 2-0.
68-60 UCLA with 7.2 seconds left. But Northwestern will shoot 3 free throws, which probably.
Oh boy.
But it still won't matter. UCLA will win.
I'm sure. Go Bruins.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. Now on to the news items of the day. As soon as I clear some of this stuff off. All right.
68-61. 2 more free throws coming up. Boo,
After the
boo,
Nuggets,
booey.
boo. After the Nuggets struggled down the stretch against my Knicks today, and their 5th loss in 6 games, Nikolai Jokic said the Nuggets need to be concerned on how they're playing. Here's what Jokic said. He scored 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. We need to be concerned about the next one, as they'll play against the Nets tomorrow and have a chance to redeem themselves. They have been on a struggle lately. They've been going down. They've been going downhill for the past week or so, and their lead has now been cut down to 4.5 games. This one has gone final. UCLA over Northwestern 68-63. All right. So even though it's not really a big concern right now for the Nuggets, they need to get some wins in if they want to hold on to the number 1 spot. Because right now, it's dwindling. As the case looks now. All right. Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards will miss his first game of the season with an ankle sprain versus the Raptors. For the record, it was his right ankle. Edwards suffered the injury in last night's loss to the Bulls as he landed very awkwardly and collapsed after leaving his feet to deliver a pass. The injury appeared to be serious as he screamed in pain and was not able to put weight on his right leg. He went to the locker room and never returned to the game, but did return to the sidelines wearing a walking boot. The Wolves listed Edwards as questionable for tonight's game early in the day before being ruled out completely. Wolves coach Chris Finch said Edwards is still wearing the boot and does not have a clear answer for a return for Edwards. Before the injury, Edwards had 8 points and 3 for 4 from the field, playing 8 minutes. Karl Anthony Towns, who has been out since November 28th with a calf injury, is expected back in a few weeks. We hope. The Wolves are a game back of the Mavericks and the Warriors for 6th in the West. A welcome sign for the Knicks as Jalen Brunson returned to the lineup to face the Nuggets. Bruce's missed 5 of the last 6 games with a sore left foot. The star point guard went through full practice yesterday, but was not cleared to play until after he worked out before today's game to make sure his soreness did not return. Bruce had missed the last 2 games with the injury, returned March 9th against the Kings, but only made it through the first half, then missed the last 3 games on the road trip. The Knicks went 3-2 without Bruce, who was last month's Player of the Month, but had no trouble today, even though they had to come back from 13 down to do it to win. All right. Kansas basketball coach Bill Self was not coaching against Arkansas today, the university announced, and they could have used him. Self continues to recover from procedure last week after complaining of tightness in his chest and balance issues. He underwent a heart catheterization, had 2 stents placed for the treatment of blocked arteries, and was discharged last Sunday. Assistant Norm Roberts took over the coaching duties again in Self's absence. Novak Djokovic will miss the Miami Open next week after being denied exemption that would allow him to enter the U.S. despite not being vaccinated, said by director James Blake. We tried to get Djokovic an exception, but it didn't come out our way, said Blake, as he told the Tennis Channel. Obviously, we are one of the premier tournaments in the world. We would like to have the best players in the world. We would like to have the best players that can play. We did all we could, and even tried to get the government involved, but that's out of our hands. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, along with Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, were among those to call on the Biden administration to allow Djokovic.
What a bunch of punks.
You can say that again. And complete the tournament that he's won 6 times. The Joker, as I call him, is also missing the Masters tournament going on in Indian Wells in California due to his inability to secure his exemption. The U.S. currently bans foreigners who are not vaccinated from entering the country, although that is expected to change coming, I think, May 11th, when they'll relax all this nonsense.
Yeah, DeSantis is gonna. He at least should be prosecuted. I think he will. I think he will be too.
No question. Dvorak also missed last year's Australian Open for refusing to be vaccinated and said he would rather skip the Grand Slam tournaments than receive a COVID shot. He is tied for most Grand Slams on the male side with 22 when he won the Australian Open back in January.
DeSantis can be prison buddies with Donald Trump for all we care.
Probably will.
They're Florida buddies anyway. Well,
True.
Trump's from New York, but...
Right. Jaren Jackson Jr. scored 28 points for the Grizzlies and pulled the biggest comeback of the season so far after trailing by as many as 29 points and defeated the Spurs in overtime last night. Well, the Spurs were trash anyway. Memphis faced a 9-point hole with about a minute to go in the fourth before outscoring the Spurs 9-0 and sent the game to overtime. Desmond Bain at 21 points and 8 in overtime. Tyus Jones has his first triple-double with 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. For the Grizzlies, the even topped the Nets comeback over the Celtics on March 3rd as they were down by 28. Who would have thought they would have come back from that? It came just as Ja Morant nears his return as the All-Star guard is completing a suspension for being a schmuck for his conduct behavior. Devon Vassell had 25 points and Zach Collins had 24 points, and the Spurs are 0-5 in overtime this season. Dylan Brooks tied the game with a 3-point shot in the closing seconds of regulation. Brooks finished with 16 points on 4 for 8 on 3-point shots. Our defense was clamping down the stretch, said Taylor Jenkins, the coach, but we came up with enough plays at the end. The Spurs shot 12 for 24 on 3-pointers in the first half and were ahead by as much as 25 points. The second half was a way much different story as they only shot 31% from the field and was 6 for 20 from 3-point land with 14 turnovers, adding to the collapse. Brooks and Johnson contributed for 26 points in the second half. Okay. As we mentioned, we had a major upset last night as FDU from my home state of New Jersey defeated top seed Purdue, only the second time that a number 16 seed has been a number 1 seed. Knights coach Tobin Anderson said, "I want our team to believe." Who noted that he did not realize his post-game message on Wednesday night would appear on a national television broadcast after the play in victory. We could not be happy to be there. As it
I'm really
turns out, yeah,
I'm really happy for you.
thanks. As it turns out, they were not done yet after pulling one of the greatest upsets ever. Despite having the shortest roster with the average of 6'1", FDU attacked the rim, even with Purdue's giant Zach Edey, who's at 7'4". Well, as I've always said, size doesn't always mean everything. Edey scored 21 points and 15 rebounds and 3 block shots. However, the Knights responded with 24 points in the paint on the other end, and Purdue only had 2 more after that. With about a minute and 40 to go in the second half, when the Knights were up by a possession, Knights forward Sean Moore, that's with 2 O's, swiped the ball from Edey off the turnover. Moore got the ball back with a driving layup. On the next possession, Moore nailed a 3-point shot from the top of the key and finished with 19 points. Purdue had one last shot to tie the score, but Moore blocked the shot from Braden Smith's layup attempt. And off the inbound pass of a Fletcher Lawyer 3-point attempt after missing everything before falling into the arms of Dimitri Roberts, who was only 5'8", and sealed the victory with two free throws and a block at the end. 5'8", I'm 5'6". Roberts said, "We belong here," as he finished with 12 points and 4 assists. Game well played. The Buffalo Sabres have signed goaltender Devin Levy to a 3-year entry-level contract, which comes less than a week after his junior season at Northwestern ended. Levi won the Mike Richter Award for Best Goaltender in College Hockey last season, as a finalist again with a save percentage of .923. He also led Hockey East goaltenders with 14 wins and 6 shutouts, and a goals against average of 1.41. Drafted by the Panthers in 2020, the Sabres acquired him in a trade for Sam Reinhart to the Panthers in 2021. All right, well, Brooks was a hero in one game. Well, he got himself into trouble anyhow, because he was fined $35,000 for shoving a camera person on the sideline while chasing a loose ball, resulting in a loss against the Miami Heat. Joe Dumars, the NBA executive vice president and head of basketball operations, announced the fine yesterday. Brooks shoved the camera person with 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the half as the Grizzlies lost to the Heat on Wednesday night. Brooks was suspended on March 5th after receiving his 60th technical foul of the season in a loss to the Nuggets 2 days prior. The Grizzlies wrapped up a 3-game road trip last night against the Spurs. Okay, Hornets owner Michael Jordan is engaging in serious talks to selling a majority stake of the franchise to a group led by minority owner Gabe Plotkin and Atlanta Hawks minority owner Rick Chanel, sources told ESPN yesterday. No deal has been approved yet, but there is momentum on a sale that would install Plotkin and Chanel as co-governors of the Hornets, according to sources. If the sale is completed, Jordan is expected to remain with a minority stake in the franchise, and probably will. Jordan, a 5-time MVP and 6-time NBA champion, is considered by many as the greatest basketball player in the history of the game, and the league's only black majority owner. Selling a major share of the Hornets would end Jordan's 13-year run as owner of the Hornets. He paid $275 million for a stake back in 2010. That long ago. Wow. All right, moving along. Blackhawks forward Cole Gutman underwent surgery on his right shoulder on Tuesday. The Blackhawks said the operation was performed in Los Angeles by team doctor Michael Terry Gutman. By Michael Terry. Gutman is expected to be absent for about 4 months. He finishes the season with 4 goals, 2 assists in 17 games, meaning his season is over. Okay. Brooklyn Nets coach Jacques Vaughn said that there have been no decisions of shutting down Ben Simmons for the rest of the season, although I wish he would. Definitely operating the belief, Vaughn said, on Thursday, was asked when Simmons would play again this season. There was zero discussion about him playing. We expect him back, waiting for him to be back. Watching the Kings last game, it was great to see him as physicality versus the Kings All-Star Domas Tobias last time. So looking forward to seeing him again for sure. Vaughn was speaking before the Nets against the Kings was vague about what Simmons had actually done, declining to say more than what he has progressed to on the court work. He did not mention a timetable for Simmons to return. If he was smart, Simmons would not return. No setbacks, Vaughn said, progressing, so it was great to see him. Simmons has been out since February 15th, the final game for the All-Star break, as he was dealing with back and knee issues. Vaughn said Simmons had continued to strengthen his back and knee and said there had not been any setbacks with either. Really? All right. Moving down the line here. Perhaps another one of the biggest upsets in the tournament so far was 15 seeded Princeton being number 2 Arizona on Thursday. Oh yeah. Head coach Mitch Henderson said he had been the beneficiary of the game against UCLA, along with my teammates as Princeton upset UCLA back in 1996 as a 13 seed. I remember that very well. But I'm the coach, and here's my charge. I'm very present of this, is what I want. And that's very simple. And I did, well, now 2 days ago. This made so many people very happy, and they deserve it. This was the 11th time overall that a 15 seed beat a number 2 seed, and done so for the 3rd straight year. How about that? All right, as I mentioned, the Bulls got some bad news as Lonzo Ball will undergo a 3rd surgery on his left knee, and this raises a concern about his ability to resume playing at all. The 3rd surgery is likely to cost him the entire 23-24 season. Ball is not playing in over 2 months, has been ruled out for the rest of the season, has already gone 2 surgeries on the same knee, and there's a growing pressure for his next procedure to give a pathway toward the healing needed in order for him to play again. Ball was in the 2nd year of his 4-year, $80 million deal. So it does not look good for Lonzo Ball to return for next season, and we don't even know if we'll be back at all. And the Bulls are really struggling as well. Atlanta Hawks guard Bogdan Bogdanovich agreed to a 4-year, $68 million deal contract extension back on Thursday. He declined his $18 million option for next season and replaced it with a new long-term deal. His representatives at Wasserman finalized the deal with Hawks general manager Laundry Fields earlier this week. Bogdanovich came to the Hawks from the Kings in 2020 as a free agent and has been a staple on the Hawks lineup, averaging 14 points per game in 6 seasons between the Kings and the Hawks. Okay, now as I mentioned about the MVP, the betting odds to win the MVP regular season has shifted at the sports books as Sixers center Joel Embiid has caught up with Nikola Jokic in what was a close race, and still is. Embiid, who was a 2-1 underdog, is now the favorite. Jokic had been the favorite since February 1st at the major sports books. The odds began to shift last week when the Nuggets lost at home to the Nets. Then Jokic and Embiid were the co-favorites at minus 105 at Caesars. Embiid is now the favorite at all the major sports books. That includes DraftKings and PointsBet. The side of Jokic coincides with the Nuggets' recent struggles as they lost 4 in a row at the time and were leading the West by only 4.5 games. Wow. And they've been dominant all season. Another player will go in surgery as Warrior star Andre Iguodala will undergo surgery next week for his fractured left wrist that happened in a Monday night game against the Suns. There is no timetable for his return. Head coach Steve Kerr told reporters that Monday's game versus the Clippers The Iguodala's absence will be a huge loss as they enter the final stretch of the regular season. After signing a one-year vet minimum contract last summer, Iguodala has only played in 8 games this season. He did not make his debut until January, missing the first 39 games with left hip management. After playing in 3 games, he missed 21 games with left hip soreness. Iguodala returned on March 5th and played in 5 straight games. His stats were not eye-popping, but his presence on the court had a clear impact on the team. His wrist injury is a blow to the Warriors' depth, as Jonathan Kuzma had missed the last 3 games with a right ankle sprain. Lester Quintones' 10-day contract expired, making two-way players Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb eligible to play. The Warriors are expected to make a decision on their 15th roster spot over the next few days, but they only have 13 players on the roster until further notice. Yeah. As I mentioned, John Morant has been suspended for 8 games for determined conduct by the league. The announcement came on Wednesday. Morant met with the commissioner in New York on Wednesday over his handling of a firearm at a nightclub in Denver last month. Morant's conduct was irresponsible, reckless, stupid, and not to mention just plain dangerous, as said by the commissioner Adam Silver. It also has major consequences given his following and influence, especially among young fans who look up to him. Morant has expressed remorse since for his behavior, and has also made it clear that he has learned from the incident. He understands his obligations and responsibilities, and broader NBA community extend way beyond his play on the court, and is seeking help at this time. Alexander Ovechkin sat out Wednesday's game with a lower body injury. It's the 6th time this season that the Capitals have played without their captain, including missing 4 games following the death of his father. The Capitals lost 5 without him, and the past 8 dating back to last season. The trend went up to 9 when the Capitals lost to the Rangers on Wednesday night. Mika Zibanejad had goals number 33 and 34 on the year, and Igor Shashetskin made 28 saves in the win. Yeah. Capitals forward Sonny Milano was out with an illness. The Capitals are on the outside of the mix, and earlier this month they sold some of their assets to build toward their future. As play began on that night, the Capitals were 5 points in back of the Islanders for the final wildcard spot. All right.
Alabama and Maryland are back from halftime.
Aha. Okay.
TBS.
Nuggets coach Mike Malone was critical of his team efforts in a loss to the Raptors on Wednesday, saying they've been in first place for so long that they have become complacent. Of course, the slumping Nuggets at 46 and 23 lost 4 straight, but they did still onto a 4-game lead in the West and have been winless since the home win against the Raptors on March 6th, 2 weeks ago. Right now, we seem to be in a chill mode, and we can't be in one with 13 games left. Now 12. Said Malone, we got to get our swagger back. Malone said several players spoke up after the loss and urged them to play better. Asked whether if the Nuggets needed to play better, 2-time MVP Nikola Jokic responded, yeah. Maybe we're just a bit soft with our sources, said Malone. We have been riding high for so long. We've been in first place since mid-December. I told our players we have gotten away from who we are. Well, you can't do that, you dummy.
No. Gotta stay on your toes.
Yep. Jokic had 28 points. Michael Porter had 23 points. And Aaron Gordon had 18 points in the loss as the Blazers began a 4-game road trip. This is their first 4-game losing streak of the season. Not a good time to get, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, no time is to get a losing streak, but when you're fighting for a playoff spot and trying to hold on to your lead in the conference, that's not a good time to start losing. All right. The San Francisco Giants have signed longtime reliever Sergio Romo, who will retire as a member of the Giants as he retires at the end of spring training on March 27th versus the A's. Romo won 3 World Series titles in his 9 years with the Giants, though only made one All-Star appearance in 2013 when he had 38 saves. He holds the Giants' franchise records for postseason appearances by a pitcher with 27. After leaving the Giants, Romo then went on to the rival Dodgers in 2017, then the Rays for 2017 and 18, the Marlins in 2019, and then with the Twins in 2019 and 2020, the A's in 21, and then split with the Mariners and Blue Jays last season. Romo had 137 saves in 15 seasons, going 43 and 26 with a 3.21 ERA with 877 relief appearances and 5 starts. Wow, got around. The first time that Jimmy Garoppolo met with Josh McDaniels, the G-Man was on a pre-draft visit with the Patriots way back in 2014. McDaniels, who was the offensive coordinator then, was running the quarterback through his offense on the whiteboard. I don't know if he planned it, but I swear he planned it. Tom Brady walked in, Garoppolo was laughing, he said yesterday, and I thought he threw me off a bit because I'd never met him before. Oh yeah. And became starstruck. But he walked out, and Josh kept going with the teaching. That was the first interaction. The reunion was delayed slightly from a mishap in contract language, Garoppolo said in his news conference intro yesterday. The G-Man replaces Derek Carr, who had been with the Raiders since 2014, but was benched for the final 2 games of the season by McDaniels. Carr holds most of the Raiders' franchise records, stayed away from the team till the end of the season, and then was released by the Raiders last month. Carr was then picked up by the Saints. Garoppolo had 40 and 17 regular season record, passing for 14,982 yards with 87 touchdowns and 42 interceptions. He also has played in 7 playoff games and is 4-2 as a starter, including their Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs in 2020. The Dolphins signed a pair of AFC East cast-offs yesterday by adding Jets wide receiver Braxton Berrios and former Jets punter Jake Bailey. Berrios was released by the Jets on Wednesday after talks on a restructured deal fell flat. In 2021, Berrios was named first all-team All-Pro as a kick returner, catching 46 passes for 431 yards. Both were career highs, while his production and playing time decreased in 2022 with 18 receptions, 145 yards, with no touchdowns. Bailey, who signed a 1-year deal with the Dolphins, also struggled to find his form before heading to the injured list in November and then was suspended for the final 2 games of the season. Bailey was first all-team pro in 2020. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts told reporters last night that right-handed pitcher Tony Golson will not be ready for opening day with a sprained ankle. Okay. He had his best season, finishing 16-1 last year, and made his first All-Star appearance he had 2.14 ERA, pitching 130-plus innings, giving up 79 hits. The Dodgers may have several options to fill in the spot of Golson. The most obvious would be Ryan Papinoit, Michael Grove, and Andre Jackson. Question is, we don't know who it's going to be yet. All right. And, of course, we know about the Edwin Diaz incident. Oh, boy. The Mariners will be without infielder Dylan Moore for the beginning of the season, at least, as he has a left oblique strain. Moore had an MRI that revealed a grade 1 strain on his left oblique. The Mariners said yesterday that Moore is expected to miss a few weeks, starting up again by May or June. Moore was to start on Thursday, but a late scratch from the lineup said he strained his oblique while taking some swings. Moore had been slowly coming along in spring training after undergoing core muscle surgery in the off-season. Moore was expected to have a larger role for Seattle this season for Colton Wong at second base and J.P. Crawford at shortstop, mostly against left-handed pitching. Last season, he had 6 home runs and 24 RBIs and played 7 different positions. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, 7 different positions. Yeah, I didn't think anyone can do that. The Seahawks have agreed to a 2-year, $12 million deal with former Giants safety Julian Love. Sources told ESPN. Love started 16 games last season and 32 in the last 4 seasons. With Big Flu reinforces uncertainty, while their while their most glaring needs on defense have been concentrated in their front seven. Their secondary also was a big question mark as safety Jamal Adams is coming off surgery from a torn quad tendon. The injury to Adams occurred in week one, always a bad sign, last season. But head coach Pete Carroll said in January that his recovery will go into the summer, asking will he be ready for the season opener. Ryan Neal took over for Adams and was one of the Seahawks' best defenders. The Seahawks gave Neal the low tender as a restricted free agent at $2.6 million that could invite other offers from other teams. Free agency, Condre Diggs is under contract for 2 more seasons. Adams is signed for the next 3 seasons. Love finished with 124 tackles and 200 receptions last season and had 291 tackles and 4 interceptions in the last 5 seasons. Now it's Cowboys. Quarterback Cooper Rush agrees to a 2-year deal worth $5 million, with another $1.25 million in signing bonuses. That according to sources. Cooper could also make up to $6 million on the deal.
He's a backup behind Dak Prescott, isn't he?
Yes, but Prescott, well, you know how he's been. Rush was 5-1 as a starter for the past 2 seasons, while Dax was injured. For his career, he has thrown 1,475 yards with 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. There are at least 2 AFC teams that were interested in signing Rush before returning to the Cowboys. Cowboys likely would have not made the playoffs in 2022 without Rush, who stepped in for Prescott at the start of the season and was 4-1 as a starter. Prescott suffered a fractured left thumb in the opening loss to the Bucks that forced him to miss 5 games, and Rush, well, filled in. His numbers were not earth-shattering by any means. Rush did not top 235 yards passing or have more than 2 touchdown passes in a game, but he helped beat the Bengals and the Super Bowl champion Rams in a 4-week span and delivered 2 key NFC East wins against the Giants and the Commanders. In 9 games last season, Rush had 84 for 102 yards passing for 1,051 yards and 5 touchdowns. In the October 31st game in 2021 against the Vikings, Rush threw for 325 yards on 24 of 40 passing with 2 touchdowns, including the game winner to Amari Cooper in the final minute of the game. Oh, yeah, that was a great one. That was a great finish.
Yeah.
The Eagles and cornerback Darius Slay have come to terms on a $42 million extension with $23 million right in his pocket. Source told ESPN yesterday. Slay had been scheduled to enter the final year of his 3-year, $50 million deal, which is nothing to sneeze at. Signed with the Eagles in 2020 with the extension, which is for 2 years. He's now under contract with the Eagles for the next 3 seasons. The extension, which was negotiated by Drew Rojas and Robert Bailey, comes a day after Slay was told that he would be released the day after. However, Slay, in a tweet on Wednesday night, said he would be returning and said, in writing, returning, I never even left. Also, the Eagles went outside for more help at the cornerback position by agreeing to corner Greedy Williams of the Browns, a source on ESPN confirming a source by Cleveland.com. Yes, there is a Cleveland.com. Williams, a second-round pick in 2019, started in 20 games over 2 seasons, but was limited to one start last year behind Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward. He will have the chance to compete for the number 3 outside corner world with Zach McPherson and Josh Jobe, who was also a special team contributor with 115 snaps last season. The Eagles also re-signed cornerback James Bradbury to a 3-year deal earlier this week. The Eagles signed Slade from the Lions for a 3rd and 5th round pick in 2020. He made the Pro Bowl the last 2 seasons. He has 3 interceptions and 14 passes defended last season.
Yeah, so Slade's not coming back to Detroit while the Lions picked up a really good corner from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cam Sutton.
Yes. The Bears have signed former Packers tight end Robert Toyan and the Panthers running back Donta Foreman to 1-year deals back on Thursday. Foreman's deals were $3 million, according to sources. My brother, I don't know if he's happy or not. Well, he's a Bears fan. Toyan becomes the second offensive player to lead the pack this week, following Alan Lazard, who signed a 4-year deal with the Jets. Ooh. The Packers are still in discussions with the Jets. On Pat McAfee's show this week that he intends to play for the Jets this season, though nothing is official yet. In Chicago, Toyan joins a tight end depth chart led by Cole Kent, who had 50 receptions for 544 yards and 7 touchdowns last season. A torn ACL midway through 2021 slowed Toyan down, but by late last season, he appeared to be back in form. Even with a slow start to 2022, he caught a career 53 passes. As for Foreman, he is the second running back by the Bears have secured this offseason, joining Travis Homer. The Bears are looking to replace David Montgomery, who signed a 3-year deal with their longtime rival, you guessed it, the Lions. Last season, Foreman signed a 1-year deal with the Panthers to back up Christian McCaffrey, who was traded to the 49ers 6 weeks into the season. Foreman responded with 914 yards on 4.5 yards per carry. His best game was against the Lions, rushing for 165 yards and 1 touchdown on 21 carries. He made a promise to his father who was killed in a car crash in 2021. That's a shame.
It's dedication.
Yes. Okay, the Giants bulked up their receiving line by adding Paris Campbell and Darius Slayton, source of ESPN. Campbell joins the Giants from the Colts on a 1-year deal that can be worth up to $6.7 million with the guarantee of $3 million. Slayton returns on a 2-year $12 million deal with a max deal of $16.5 million. The Giants wide receivers have been younger and faster in recent days with the signings of Campbell and former Jet Smith. All 3 receivers are under the age of 26. Well, you gotta start them young. The Giants need to bolster their wide receiver, Daniel Jones, and they cut free agent Kenny Golladay recently. I got a lot of Giants fans, though, too, so, yeah. All right, for you Mets fans out there, well, I don't know how you're going to take this, but here goes. Mets fans are going to hate this, as Edwin Diaz, the closer, suffered a torn patella tendon and is likely to miss the rest of the regular season after injuring his knee in his celebration victory on Wednesday night. Mets manager Billy Epler said that Diaz will undergo surgery without going into much in detail, and a general timeline for recovery is about 6 to 8 months, meaning his season is done.
No Timmy Trumpet this year.
Nope. Diaz retired the side in the ninth. Yeah. So Diaz retired the side in the ninth to give Puerto Rico a 5-2 win over the Dominican Republic and send them to the quarterfinals. The injury occurred as his teammates were jumping in celebration. Diaz then grabbed his right leg and was taken off in a wheelchair. Epler spoke to Diaz several times and was in good spirits. The Mets signed Diaz to a 5-year, $102 million deal, the highest ever for a closer. Diaz was 3-1 last season with a 1.31 ERA with 32 saves and striking out 118 batters. Well, what a shame. You're celebrating your team's victory, and then you get injured in the celebration. What a shame.
At least I had my Timmy Trumpet saved on video saved on one of my YouTube playlists.
Ah, yeah. But the thing is the World WBC good for baseball? Uh, I don't know about this case. I think maybe it's not a good idea to have this, especially this time of year, as the rest of the team is getting ready for to open their season and they got travel back. As I mentioned before, maybe this wasn't such a great idea. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
Just got to be
no,
careful. Well, I mean, you just got to be careful how you celebrate.
yes. But I meant like, is it a good idea to have this being played this time of year? Is what I meant. So,
Right,
yeah,
but still, you got
yeah.
to be careful.
Oh, of course.
Take it from Stephen Tulloch in
Yeah,
2014.
that long ago. Wow.
Celebrate a sack.
Yeah. The Carolina Panthers have reached a 4-year deal with running back Miles Sanders. Sanders coming off a career high for the Eagles. He was selected to his first Pro Bowl after racking up 1,269 yards and 11 touchdowns for the NFC champions, and is the first Eagles running back to reach for 1,000 yards since LaShawn McCoy back in 2014. Wow, that long ago. The Panthers may resign Deonta Foreman. I gotta get rid of that. A priority prior to free agency, but to no agreement they moved on to Sanders, though bringing back Foreman has not been ruled out. A second round pick in 2019, the Eagles, Sanders posted 3,708 receiving yards and 20 rushing touchdowns in his 4 seasons with the Birds. Hit by injuries in 2020 and 2021, he played in 57 of 66 regular season games. He played his college ball at Penn State, now with Giants running back Saquon Barkley. When Sanders got the lead role in 2018, he erupted for 1,413 yards from scrimmage and 9 touchdowns. So Barkley and Sanders have a history together. How interesting. Jacoby Brissett signed a 1-year deal with the Commanders. Source on ESPN. Okay, Steve, you happy now? Jeez. Brissett's deal is worth $10 million, includes $8 million in guaranteed money. The Commanders did not make a big splash at the quarterback level by landing Brissett, but they found a player who filled the desired role, a solid backup who can compete for a starting job. Uh-huh. Brissett replaced Taylor Heineke, who signed a 2-year deal with the Falcons. The Dirty Birds themselves. Head coach Ron Rivera said that Sam Howell went into the offseason as the starting quarterback, but still needs to prove it, buddy. Rivera won a competition for Howell, and Brissett will provide that. No questions asked. Patriots are expected to sign wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to a 3-year, $33 million deal. Smith-Schuster helped the Chiefs win the Super Bowl last month and will make, just a mere $22.5 million over the first 2 years of the deal. Smith-Schuster was excited for his next chapter with the Patriots, or as I say, them. Schuster joins Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, and Tyquan Thornton on the depth chart. The departure of Jacoby Myers to the Raiders was tied to the Patriots' pursuit of SS. The Patriots did not make a strong case to retain Myers and Smith-Schuster for similar finance terms to what Myers agreed to in Vegas. He played last season with the Chiefs after 5 seasons with the Steelers. He caught 78 passes for 933 yards and 3 touchdowns in the regular season and added 10 more receptions in 3 postseason games, including 7 in the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory over the Eagles. And the Eagles flew away. And I thought it was a great Super Bowl.
It was, yeah.
Yes, some were just, complaining about how it turned out, how that the last few seconds.
It was
I'm like,
holding.
yeah, I'm like, shut up.
A tug of the jersey. Whether
Yeah,
it could have been pass interference. It was a penalty either way. Get over it.
yes, right. Yeah. And of course, you go and smash everybody's TV sets on your block. Okay, real class, sure. Well,
A child.
Yeah. Cowboys fans, I don't know how you're going to take this story, but here it goes. The Cowboys released longtime running back Zeke Elliott, making him a free agent.
What
Elliott
in the
was set to,
world?
yep,
Oh, it's a
Elliott was set to make
shocker.
16.7 million. Not really. Against the cap with 10 million non-guaranteed base salary. Elliott will be designated
That's why.
post June 1st cut. Oh, hold on.
The
Post June 1st.
money.
Yeah, and will save the Cowboys 11 million cap space in 2023, but will count more than 6 million against the 2024 cap. The Cowboys will not get cap credit until June 1st, of course. After recent scouting at Combine, team owner and GM Jerry Jones remained open to the possibility of keeping both Elliott and Tony Pollard, who was given a $10 million franchise tag, but that was highly unlikely. Elliott would have to accept a major pay cut, and that is not clear on. And it's not clear that Elliott would even make such an offer. I know I wouldn't. In two of their high-profile releases in the past, they did not offer pay cuts to Des Bryant at all. In 2018, Elliott signed a six-year extension worth $90 million that included $50 million in guaranteed money, but his numbers fell short the last three seasons, with topping over 1,000 yards only once, and that was in 2021 when the league expanded to 17 games. Injuries have slowed Elliott over the past two seasons. He played through a partial torn 10 PCL in 2021 and did not miss a game. Yep, the old play it through the pain routine. Yep. He only missed two games in 2022 with a hyperextended knee, but wore a brace for the rest of the season. Though Elliott was the starter, they realized they relied more on Pollard last season. Smart choice. Pollard ran for 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns and was named the Pro Bowl for the first time in his career. The Cowboys have until July 15th to sign a multi-year agreement with Pollard or use the tag. Elliott only rushed for 876 yards last season, but did have 12 touchdowns and remained a top short and back pass protector. But in his last four games, he only averaged 2.7 yards per carry and only 17 runs of 10 yards or more. Not good. Elliott was selected fourth in 2016 with the idea of prolonging the career of Tony Romo, but they never played together as Romo suffered a back injury. But Elliott and fellow rookie Prescott guided the Cowboys to a 13-3 season. Elliott ran for 630 yards in 2016, third most by a rookie, and had 7 games of at least 1,000 yards. In 2018, he led rushing again with 1,434 yards, and the following year, he finished fourth with 1,357 yards after missing 6 games in the 2017 season for violating the league conduct policy. Elliott finished his Cowboys career with 80 touchdowns. Only Emmitt Smith with 164 and Tony Dorsett with 86 have more. Both great legendary players for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I remember both of them too. I remember when Tony Dorsett did that. After all, I am that old, people. Well, okay, now for what we said last week, because I think we jumped the gun on my show concerning about Aaron Rodgers. So here's the truth here. Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show that he intends to play with the Jets this season. Rodgers said he made the decision on Friday and will not hold up a trade that has not been final. Both teams and Rodgers remain in contact, sources said, as they try to work out the final stages of a potential deal, which would include a restructured of Rodgers' contract and agreed on trade compensation. Rodgers said, I made it clear that this was the intentions. I was to play for the Jets and have not given anything up. It's the compensation. The Packers are trying to get to move on and let me know that in so many words. Rodgers went on a 4-day retreat to contemplate his future and said before the retreat that I was 90% sure I was going to retire. Well, what a difference a few days makes. He said when he left the darkness, something changed with the Packers' stance of wanting to play his whole career in Green Bay and wished that the Packers were more direct with him in the beginning of the season. He said, I was always with the Packers organization, but it's time for a change. Stay tuned for further developments. Yeah.
Man, I can't wait.
Yeah, being the Canal of New York. Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman suffered a major hamstring injury while playing for Canada in the WBC on Wednesday. Freeman left the game against Colombia in the fourth inning after he felt tight as a hamstring during an at-bat in the previous inning. Yowza. Manager Ernie Witt said that Freeman is out of the WBC for now. Witt told reporters that he is out of the tournament, according to the LA Times. The Dodgers decided that he is in camp right now and getting looked at by doctors and the training staff. Canada would have clinched a berth in the qualified round if they beat Mexico. That did not happen. It's not certain that the injury to Freeman could jeopardize his availability for March 30th when the Dodgers face the D-backs in the season opener. Last season, Freeman batted .325 with 21 home runs and 100 RBIs last season in his first of a 6-year, $162 million deal with the Dodgers, which was Atlanta's big loss. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, it was. And the Bucks have come to a 1-year deal on, Baker Mayfield. Oh boy. Mayfield's deal is worth about $4 million, sources said, told ESPN.
The
Uh,
Buccaneers, Baker
the
Mayfield.
Buccaneers. That's right. I know. Kind of stupid, but still. The Bucks need a veteran quarterback with the ability to start to compete with 2021 second-round pick Kyler Trask. General Manager Jason Licht said at the combine that the Bucks have a lot of faith in Mayfield, but going from third string to a starter and to follow in the footsteps of Tom Brady would be a tall task for any player, let alone a player who saw his first regular season snaps in the final week of the regular season. Yeah, right. The Bucks are also installing a new offense under new coordinator Dave Kennels. Mayfield played the first 5 games of 2022 for the Rams, who cleaned off waivers from the Panthers on December the 6th. In those 5 games, he completed 63% of his passes for 850 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Mayfield was the top pick in 2018 and was playing in the final year of his rookie contract after the Browns picked up his fifth-year option in 2021. What were you thinking? I don't know. The Browns also acquired another loser, Deshaun Watson, in a trade with Houston in the last offseason. Traded Mayfield to the Panthers in July. He played 7 games in Carolina before he arrived. Oh boy. Yuck. Uh-huh. Oh good. All
The
right,
the
and
the the Buccaneers are going to tank.
good. And one more note here. The Detroit Lions and former Bears linebacker Dave Montgomery have reached a deal for 3 years, 18 million, 11 million in guaranteed money, sources to ESPN. With Montgomery now departing, the Bears signed Seahawks running back Travis Homer to a 2-year max deal worth 4.5 million, according to his agent Spencer Kenold. Montgomery joins the Lions receiving corps that scored 23 rushing touchdowns, including 17 from Jamal Williams and 5 from DeAndre Smith, who enters the offseason as an unrestricted free agent, while Smith remains under contract through 2023, the final year of his deal. Montgomery was drafted in the third round, 74th overall in the 2019 draft. During his 4th season with the Bears, Montgomery totaled 3,609 rushing yards with 26 touchdowns, although with 1,240 receiving yards and 4 interceptions. All right, wrap up for me. I'll turn it back over to you.
Yep, Jamal Williams left Detroit for the New Orleans Saints,
Uh,
but
what do you call
he
me?
scored seven. He scored 17 touchdowns. Montgomery scored 23 for Chicago. That's slightly better. They're both good.
Yes.
So, yep. So, with that being said, that's episode 40. For Lewis Tenor, I'm Taylor Phillips. We'll be back Sunday, a week from Sunday, a week from tomorrow at 10 p.m.
All right.
All right. Ta-ta for now.
Hi, folks.